In this session, we are going to see a wonderful poem, The Wild Swans at Coole, written by William Butler Yeats. The Wild Swans at Coole. You can see the beauty of this nature. Let us see some common facts about swans. You can see these images, how beautiful it is. Yes, it is true. This majestic and beautiful animal is well known for being graceful and quite peaceful to look at. Often seen gliding across lakes, the swans has long represented elegance and refinement. And now let us know, where do they live? Where can we see these swans? Any idea? Yes, swans are more commonly found in the northern hemisphere, although some reside in Australia, New Zealand, and South America. And the vast majority of swans, however, are found in the northern United States, Canada, and Alaska. They are commonly found on lakes and rivers. Swans, what do they eat? Swans that live on fresh water typically enjoy pondweed, stonewort, and virgin grass. They also like eating insects and tadpoles. Swans typically know their limits when it comes to eating and do not overeat. Yeah, this is the good quality of this animal, swan. Okay, what do they look like? Swans live up to their reputation of being very beautiful birds. Their elongated, curved necks and white feathers stand out amongst the lakes they reside on. They are very large birds and can weigh up to 30 pounds, measuring anywhere from 56 to 62 inches in length. Fun facts about swans. Swans can sleep on either land or the water. They have the option of sleeping while standing on one leg or while floating in the water. Yeah, usually the birds will sleep on the tree or land. But here, swans can sleep on the water also and on the land. And while floating also, they will sleep. A swan has laid a set of eggs which can take 2 to 3 weeks. She can sit on them for 6 weeks or longer until they hatch. Swans will hatch up to 10 eggs at one time. Baby swans are called cygnets and stay with their mother for the first 6 months of life. Despite popular belief, swans can actually fly. They are among the largest flying birds out of there and need about 30 yards to become airborne. There are black swans as well as white swans. Black swans are native to Australia and New Zealand. They are not typically found in North America, but due to them being bred and sold for habitation on private lakes, it is possible to find them there. Okay. Now we are going to see about the poet who has written this poem. The poem, written by William Butler Yeats, born on 1865, died 1939, was one of the greatest literary figures of the 20th century. He was an Irish poet and dramatist who was involved with the Irish nationalist movement. His poetry makes extensive use of symbolism and imaginary, and his early works draw upon Irish myths and folklore. Some of his best known poems are The Second Coming and Sailing to Byzantium. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1923. This is about the poet. Now, let's see poem and its meaning stanza by stanza. Yeah, let me read this poem first. The trees are in their autumn beauty. The woodland paths are dry. Under the October twilight, the water mirrors a still sky. Upon the brimming water, among the stones, are 59 swans. The 19th autumn has come upon me since I first made my count. I saw, before I had well finished, all suddenly mount and scatter wheeling in great broken rings upon their glamorous wings. I have looked upon those brilliant creatures, and now my heart is sore. All's changed since I, hearing at twilight, the first time on this shore, the bell beat of their wings above my head, trod with a lighter tread, unwearied still. They paddled in the cold, companionable streams or climbed the air. Their hearts have not grown old. Passion or conquest wander where they will, attend upon them still. But now they drift on the still water, mysterious, beautiful. Among what rushes will they build? By what lake's edge or pool? Delight men's eyes when I awake some day to find they have flown away. Let us learn new words and meanings from this poem. Twilight, time just after sunset or before dawn, when the sky is dimly lit. Brimming, overflowing, mount, rise into the air. Glamorous, loud and noisy. Sore, hurting, trod, walked, past tense of tread. Tread, here, footstep. Unwearied, not tired and determined not to give up. Companionable, friendly. Attend upon, here, wait for. Rushes, water reeds. Yeah, here we are going to see first six lines. That means first stanza and its meaning. The trees are in their autumn beauty. The woodland paths are dry. Under the October twilight, the water mirrors a still sky. Upon the brimming water, among the stones, are 59 swans. Meaning for these lines, the trees are filled with fall colors and the paths through the woods are dry. It's an October evening and the cool lake reflects the calm, motionless sky above. I can see 59 swans swimming in the lake, which is almost overflowing with water. Here, the poet, when he reached this lake, Cool Lake, he could see there were 59 and more swans, and just he imagined that the lake was overflowing with water and swan. Another six lines, second stanza. The 19th autumn has come upon me since I first made my count. I saw before I had well finished all suddenly mount and scatter wheeling in great broken rings upon their glamorous wings. It was 19 years ago that I was first here and counted these swans. Back then, before I could count them all, the birds suddenly flew up above me in huge broken circles, soaring around on their noisy wings. What happens here? When he reached there, he could see he counted 59 swans. When he visited the place first, when he was 19 years old. And when he started counting these swans, suddenly they flew up and they just flew away and made with making noise. I have looked upon those brilliant creatures, and now my heart is sore. All has changed since I, hearing at twilight, the first time on this shore, the bell beat of their wings above my head, trod with a little tread. Here, meaning for this six lines, the poet feels that looking at these beautiful birds now, I feel headache. Everything has changed since I first stood on the shore of the lake at twilight and heard the swan's wings beating like bells above my head. Back then, I used to walk with a lighter step. Why here this contrast conversation that the birds, swans, still they are enjoying, they are young, but the poet comparing these two things like with the animals, birds, and human being. Okay, he became older. That is what here mentioned. I used to walk with a lighter step because he was a old person now he couldn't walk faster. Unwearied still, they paddled in the cold, companionable streams or climbed the air. Their hearts have not grown old. Passion or conquest wander where they will attend upon still. The swans are still just as full of life as they were back then. They paddled through the cold, friendly water or soared into the sky. Their hearts remain young. Their lives are still filled with passionate desires, with the freedom to go wherever they want. But now they drift on the still water, mysterious, beautiful. Among what rushes will they build? By what lake's edge or pool? Delight men's eyes when I awakes someday to find they have flown away. Here, Meaning for these lines: at this moment, though the swans float on the calm surface of the lake, peculiar and beautiful, in the future, where will they build their nest? Where will other men have the pleasure of seeing the swans? When I wake up one day to find that they have flown away from Coole. Here, the poet just pinpoint this in future whether he can see these birds in the same lake or they will build their nest in some other places. If he is not coming also, for other person who is coming to see the swans, will they available in the lake? Because humans get older, but swans, birds, they never get older. Still, they are young. They have their good time, peaceful life. That is what the poet want to convey us. Here in this poem, a poet used metaphor. Let us see first what is metaphor. A metaphor is a figure of speech that describes an object or action in a way that isn't literally true but helps explain an idea or make a comparison. A metaphor states that one thing is another thing. It equates those two things not because they actually are the same, but for the sake of comparison or symbolism. Here, to compare with something, to understand better, poets and writers use this metaphor, figure of speech, in their writings. Here, this poet also used this metaphor. The bell beat of their wings above my head trod with a lighter tread. The sound of the swan's wings beatings is compared to the sound of a bell. Okay, here poet just compared the swan's wings beating sound with a bell sound. Okay, for better understanding. Next, in the poem, last line, poet used the line to find they have flown away. Question mark. Yes, that is called a rhetorical question. Let us see first what is a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question is a question someone asks without expecting an answer. Well, sometimes these questions are asked to punch up a point. If the answer is glaringly obvious, it will make that answer stand out. Sometimes it's used to pursue someone. Other times it's used for literary effect. Okay, why this poet used this question here? Yeah, delight men's eyes when I awake someday to find they have flown away. This is a rhetorical question using which the poet is trying to draw attention to the passage of time. He does not expect an answer to it. Thank you.